Let's talk a little bit about this new initiative you're doing. It's very interesting. You're part of a new Web3 initiative. It's called Hollywoodland. So
Yeah.
what is that exactly, and how did you become part of it?
Well, I think part of the things I do well, one of the things I think I do well is I surround myself with people who know more than I do, who are smarter than I am, and then I just listen to them and let them guide me. So, knowing like the rest of us, hopefully that how the world is changing and how once Steve Jobs sort of perfected the device we're all talking on now, knowing that the future is going to just get more and more complicated and more integrated with people being able to reach out around the world and talk to each other. Let's look at what we're doing right now, just on Zoom. It's amazing. Knowing that that was coming, I said, obviously that's going to affect the film business. So when I said I surround myself by smart people, in this case, I'm specifically talking about Josh Frazen. Josh is the guy who got me involved in all this stuff and sort of explained the world that's coming. And Hollywoodland is a way to sort of really open up that world and just allow people from all walks of the film industry, veterans, from the old Hollywood space and new filmmakers to sort of get together in a friendly environment, share ideas, develop screenplays, raise money, crowdfunding, making films in a new way, trying to explore ways to move the needle, as that's different from the old Hollywood system where it's like you write a script, hopefully a producer reads it, brings it to a studio, they decide whether or not to put money in it, cast somebody, etc. This is sort of a new way of doing things. It sort of made, again, all those things I mentioned before to sort of just really open it up to the world. And certainly Josh is the guy to explain it, but he explained it to me and it sounded great. And I said, you know what, this is exactly what I'm talking about in terms of wanting to, to get into the future. On a very minor level, I said, earlier, when you see the world around you changing, like with 8 o'clock sitcoms getting wiped out, okay, wow, this might not be a bad time to get into reality TV. Well, you see Hollywood changing, and now the movie theaters, the theater going experience is now different. It's very rare that I can't even remember Maverick, Top Gun, I think was the last time I actually went to a theater. So many of us have our own home theaters or big TVs, and you think, oh, this is changing. People are now consuming this product in a different way, and certainly moving into the Web3 space, that's the next phase of this. Not only are they consuming the product in a different way, they're developing the product in a different way, and that's sort of what we hope to do at Hollywoodland. And again, if you haven't had Josh on, he's the guy. He's the guy who got me into it, and I just follow his direction.
Well, again, with the humility, I mean, I'm like overwhelmed.
Well, that's not humility. That is absolutely the truth. I don't know anything.
Well, let me ask you a question, Terrence, because obviously, like you've been around for so long, you've succeeded, like it seems like you always succeed, right? Do you think that Web3, Hollywoodland, this sort of new collaborative creator economy, do you think that this is the future of Hollywood?
Yeah, well, it's certainly a part of the future of Hollywood. Absolutely. I mean, I don't know that traditional filmmaking will ever end. Traditional filmmaking as we know it, but certainly the world should. The one thing that is constant in this business and in the world is change, and the way things are done. Inevitably will change. I'm actually reading a book about very early Hollywood, literally about the guys who invented it. And it's incredible when you think like the idea of moving the camera was somebody thought of that for the first time. Generally, it was put the camera here, people walk in front of the camera. And so, well, what if we actually move the camera? Well, you take for granted that somebody had to come up with every one of these things. And you look at it's always mind blowing to me when I sit in a movie theater and go, God, if you took somebody from 1915 and put them into a Dolby sound system theater, surround sound, their head would explode. And I think what we're looking at now, in terms of the development of how films are made and how films are financed, it's the same thing. Took somebody from the studio system from 1945 and said, yeah, look at this in 2045. This is how we do movies now. Same thing. I think it's going to blow people's minds, and we're just sort of figuring out what that is now. We're back at the point where somebody's deciding, hey, you know what if we move the camera? It was, again, like, instead of raising money this way, what if we did it that way? What if we crowdsourced? What if we opened this up to filmmakers around the world, to everybody contributes a little in terms of their ideas or their particular field of expertise in making this movie, and try it a different way. And some of it'll work, some of it won't. But I think that's what's exciting about trying something new.